The restaurant industry is not one for the faint of heart. Profit margins are small, staff turnover is generally high, and consumer tastes tend to change over time, resulting in many chains coming and going throughout the years. But there are 4 restaurant chains that will likely, at least in America, be gone soon, as they are frankly in situations that seem to be irreversible at this point and are far from where they were at their peak. So if you were wanting to go to one of these restaurants one last time, you might want to do so soon, because there's a very good chance that they will not be around much longer. These are 4 restaurant chains that will likely be gone soon. First, we have Boston Market. This chain at its peak had over 1,200 locations. Today it has just 16, resulting in a 98.66% decline from its peak. This chain would begin in the mid-1980s and would expand massively in the 1990s. And it was really one of the first large-scale fast casual chains out there, really before the trend would take off in later years. This concept was unique, relatively fast, and delivered a sit-down restaurant-style food without the wait. While this chain filed for bankruptcy long ago in 1998 and closed many locations in the time after, Boston Market would still have a massive presence as recently as the early 2020s. But in the last few years, a series of constant lawsuits, financial mismanagement, and poor management overall have simply brought the company to its knees. Things are so bad at this company that there have been around 150 lawsuits directed at this company just in the last 5 years, and it owes millions of dollars due to those lawsuits. In reality, there really just is no way out for this company. It's almost certainly going to be gone shortly, and frankly, I'm surprised that it's still even around at all. Second, we have Joe's Crab Shack. This chain had around 140 locations at its peak. Currently today, it has just 16, resulting in a decline of 88.6%. Now, this chain began in 1991 out of Houston, Texas, as a sit-down seafood chain, and it would grow over the next 23 years to well over 100 locations. While early on it was relatively successful, by the mid-2010s, the company had plunged into heavy debt exceeding $15 million. At the same time, its parent company would really start to run it into the ground, with the company experimenting with raising prices in lieu of having people pay tips. And also right around the time Joe's Crab Shack peaked, Ignite Restaurants, the parent company, would go into a costly acquisition of Macaroni Grill, which it would lose a lot of money on. The diversion of resources no doubt had an effect on Joe's Crab Shack, and Ignite would file for bankruptcy in 2017. Now, you can assume the situation was pretty bad when the new buyer purchased it, because right after the new parent company, which had actually run the company before and owned it over 10 years prior, would close 40 locations right away. Today it mostly only exists in coastal or resort areas more consistent with the theme. While I wouldn't say there's a super specific reason that this company fell into tough times, I think it's just one of those ones that lost popularity over time, along with Ignite having Macaroni Grill acquired, and then putting so much money into that and it basically going nowhere really set Joe's Crab Shack back. And I kind of really wonder if this can continue, because honestly, if you're going to go to a resort or coastal area, which is where most of these are, you're probably just going to want a local place that has superior quality than a chain restaurant. And next we have TGI Fridays. At its peak in the United States, TGI Fridays had around 600 locations. Today it has just 85, resulting in a decline of 85.84%. This chain's fall has been more of a recent phenomenon, though with its peak occurring in 2008, it has been a while since this chain grew. While it's been around a long time, and its decline has really been more obvious in the most recent years, this is really the result of many years of competitors chipping away at its business. TGI Fridays really has not changed much over the last several decades, and now it has undergone major menu changes to try and save itself, but really it's too little too late. Even ones in decent locations that I know of are gone. This went from being a company on relatively solid footing to very likely being gone soon. It frankly is just one of those restaurants that has not changed enough over the years, and now it's really just not going to probably work because a lot of the customers have just started to go elsewhere, in my opinion. It frankly just isn't a cool place to go to compared to other places. It might be somewhere you go with your family, but otherwise you probably won't be. And lastly, we have Bahama Breeze. At its peak, it had 43 locations. Today it has just 29, resulting in a decline of about a third. However, most of that decline has happened in the last few months. For those that don't know, this is basically a Caribbean-style chain restaurant that started in 1996. It is run by Darden, which owns several major chains. And I generally thought it was a pretty good restaurant. However, Darden has been quoted as saying it is not a strategic priority for them. If your parent company is saying that your restaurant is not a priority, the writing is pretty much on the wall. And apparently Darden is trying to either sell or convert these restaurants into something else. Apparently it's just too small compared to other chains like Longhorn and Olive Garden that Darden owns for them to put much of any kind of investment in this concept any longer. So those are 4 restaurant chains that will likely be gone soon. It's possible that some stagger on and last for years to come. However, there is a very good chance that at least a few of these will definitely no longer exist into the far future. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.